Yell at Joe safely ensconced in the intersectum. We are, producer Bill and I, on this blazing hot day for a conversation.
Conversating.
That's correct. With a couple of gentlemen who want to serve in the assembly in the 129th district. So why don't we introduce both of them? Of course, you know both of them by now if you watch this podcast. And after all, why wouldn't you? Mo Brown is here. He is an Onondaga County legislator who is going to take on a primary against our next guest.
His mic is muted. Can you unmute your mic?
Bill Magnarelli is also here, so let's get him on. There we go.
Yes,
and
sorry.
So here we are for our conversation, gentlemen. You can hear us, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes. You. So let me ask. I want to ask Mo this first. Mo, does someone lead the Democratic Party in Onondaga County? Is there a Democratic Party leader?
I guess the correct answer would be no. Like, there is a chair of the party, and we do have high-ranking electeds, but I've not seen as much leadership as I would like to see.
Bill, is there a leader? Is there one person like who's chair of the party?
There is a chair of the party, yes, but I think there's a number of leaders in the Democratic Party, not just one. There's a number of us, and we lead and we help other candidates get elected, etc., and that's what we do.
So, and because this is the first reaction that I had when Bill was actually the one, Bill Ali was actually the one that told me that Mo was going to primary Bill, and I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's not going to happen, but it is happening. And the thing is, and that's why I ask about a leader of the Democratic Party, because back in the day and up until now, this just isn't done. Okay, and I'm just curious if somebody from the party said to you, Mo, look, man, this just is not done. You got to wait your turn.
Yeah. So folks have told me I need to wait my turn. There's a real sense of that here in Central New York. And in the meanwhile, we're suffering. You know, we lead the nation in categories you don't want to lead the nation in around child poverty and lead. And I think that our Democratic Party's, wait your turn mentality has done that. When I first considered running for assembly, someone told me that Bill was thinking of retiring. He's in his 28th year, so I didn't even think to follow up because that's a bit of time. Like, if somebody tells you a 28-year incumbent is retiring, usually you're like, yeah, that makes sense. But in this place, it doesn't. We hold on. We don't, groom new talent. We don't do a good job of mentoring the next generation.
Well, that's true. My point here is that, Bill, when you found out, you guys know each other, obviously. Yes. So when you found out that this was going to happen, I mean, what did you think?
To be very honest with you, I was shocked. Mo and I, as you know, have gone out to lunch and breakfast together since he got elected to the county legislature. And when he says there's nobody out there trying to mentor or help younger people, our relationship shows just the opposite. And so when he told me just before lunch that he was going to primary me, Jim, what do you think I was? I was pretty shocked.
Yeah.
And disappointed, to be honest with you. But that's life. That's the way it goes. He has every right to do what he wants to do as far as that's concerned.
So, Mo, here's the thing.
Yes, sir.
You have that going, let's say, I don't want to say against you, but people are like, this is not a very good thing. The other side of that coin, and Bill knows this better than anybody, the other side of that coin is, hey, this is the way it's supposed to be. I'm sick and tired of the way we even pick candidates in this country, okay? That whole thing's rigged. So if somebody comes out and says, you know what, I don't care what you say, I'm doing this, now it's up to the voters to decide. However, there's the caveat that primary voting, the turnout is awful. So you have a very small number of people choosing who's going to run. And that's wrong, in my opinion, but that's where we are. That's what it is, and that's where we are. So it's turnout then. This is all about turnout. Now, how do you do that? So I feel like
fundamentally turnout is low, though. No, Jim? Like, turnout was low for the general of the mayor's race. turnout was low for the primary. Like turnout is low, but this is the best form of democracy we have. I think
true,
giving it
yes.
to the voters is it's not perfect, but it is the best we can do.
But I do think, Bill, that you have an opportunity to get a bigger turnout this time because of what's going on in the midterm.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm hopeful that we get a big turnout. I'm always hopeful we get a big turnout. We always try to get as many people to vote as we possibly can. And that's what I've been doing for the 28 years that you've talked about, or the 14 elections that I've been through. I'm hopeful that the Democrats will come out to vote and make their choice known to everybody.
Mo, so you retain your seat in the legislature right now, is that true?
Yes, sir. But I'm
Okay,
not running
so
for re-election. Like I
you're
have
not,
to vacate
okay.
this seat. Yes, sir.
Right. All right. So if this doesn't work out for you, then what do you see yourself doing after that?
What I've been doing for the past 10 years, Jim, I have been, helping get candidates elected, helping recruit, helping, mentor this next generation. It's how we flip the county legislature. I sat down with folks like Elaine, with folks like Jeremiah. And in the same way, previously I've sat down with folks like Irene Workman and, Mark Matt. And I've been trying to help move this county forward, this community forward. And there are several ways you can do it outside of elected office. In fact, I think you can be more effective outside of elected office.
Sometimes,
So,
yes. Yeah,
yeah,
I agree.
like
So,
I think
Bill,
either way works.
I gotta
hold on,
say,
let me
I
ask Bill. Go
hope
ahead.
Mo makes it to that.
Go ahead, Bill.
I said, I've got to say, I hope Mo makes it to that position.
I mean, I'll be there eventually, so I'm not going to be in office 28 years. So I'm only doing 12 years,
Well,
and then I'll be helping.
I feel like I've been in office for 28 years because the people elected me 14 times. The people understand what I've been doing year after year after year, not only in Albany, but here in Syracuse as well. I've been taking care of their problems. You can shake your head.
Yeah, we can agree to disagree on this one.
I've been taking care of problems that come into my office on a daily basis. And I'm known across the state for doing that. During COVID, we did better than any other assembly district in the state. So much so, Jim, you're going to laugh at this one, but there was a Long Island paper. They were talking about unemployment insurance. And if you couldn't get through to anybody, call me in Syracuse, and we would be able to get through to unemployment for you. That's the kind of service that I've been able to produce for the people that I represent.
And I will say this, Mo, that I've known Bill professionally for many, many years. And I would say that he is one of the most effective legislators that we've ever had. And that his local constituent office is very strong. So that's what you're up against. And you know what? I commend you for doing this because, and I'll tell you why. I want more people to do this. I want more young people to do this. I want people to get excited about their government locally. Nationally, we're a mess, and that's to be fixed whenever. But it's all about local now. So we need people to run, and we need people to take an interest in government. And we need leadership now. Now let's talk about the local Democrat Party, because to me, it's always been fractured, Bill, and there's always been, 2, 3, 4 camps. And then sometimes they come together, sometimes they don't. Do you see it that way, Bill?
To a certain extent, I think that that's correct, but it's always been that way. It's not something that's new. And like you said, we do come together and coalesce behind our candidates. The problem that I have with my opponent's candidacy is that, at least in my opinion, I don't see him as a member of the Democratic Party that I represent. Okay? He is a registered Democrat. I know that. But he's also an operative in the Working Families Party, and he's a Democratic Socialist. Those are different entities.
This is why we have so many camps.
Hold on.
Those are different organizations. And now he's running to take out an incumbent Democrat. That's all I've got to say. I think that that's the wrong thing, and I'm hopeful that Democrats will understand what's happening.
Mo, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So I think this is why we have so many camps. This is why we have that division. And honestly, a lot of it can be traced back to Bill. We can't intentionally divide ourselves in the era of Trump. Like, I need all Democrats working together right now, whether you're a Democratic Socialist, whether you're John Fetterman, Joe Manchin, Bill Magnarelli, Maurice Brown. We're up against an existential threat. Like, we're up against some of the largest forces in the world. And instead of trying to, come together, we're purposely dividing ourselves. I came onto this call. I wanted to talk about, maybe housing, maybe education, but this is what we're going to talk about. We're going
We'll
to
get there.
intentionally decide. But like, why are we intentionally dividing ourselves? To me, that
Well,
seems.
I
No,
am
you're
now-
intentionally dividing things. You can argue that you're intentionally dividing things
How
by
so?
going after Bill.
I don't think I'm
Right.
going after him. I think we can do better. I think we can do better. I've not
Really?
said anything about him.
Really?
I
You
do.
think you can do better?
I think we as a community can do better. I akin it to the Knicks. I akin it to the Knicks. Tom Thibodeau was the greatest coach in Knicks history, and we moved on from him, and we're doing better. The community can do better, and I think that housing is the biggest area
Well,
we
I'll
disagree.
tell you,
but
Mo, I agree
fundamentally-
with you. I agree with you on that. And the better days are coming. And for 28 years, I've been working to make them better, and they are getting better.
Where do you see us 10 years
I
from now?
don't know what you're looking at, but I'm looking at things that when I started were terrible. When you're talking about education, you want to talk about education? Let's talk about education. When I was on the Common Council in the late 90s, Jim,
Yep.
the first meeting I went to, the principal of McKinley Brighton begged me to go to her school the next day. I did. 7 o'clock in the morning, I was at her school. He brought me into the gym and said, "You can't go any farther because the roof is about to fall down." She then took me to the cafeteria, which didn't operate at all. Then she took me to a kindergarten room where two teachers were sweeping the floor because they were bringing in breakfast for the kids, and they were sweeping up what they said was rodent feces. I walked out of there with my heart broken, and I've never, ever forgotten that. Never. And so what do we have? The joint school boards, almost $1 billion put into the facilities of our Syracuse City schools because of the legislation that I pushed. And let me tell you something, that wasn't just legislation in a budget. That was legislation I had to fight for between a mayor and a governor that were fighting each other. Those were not easy lifts. So when you're talking about doing things, I get things done.
All right, Mo, where do you think that we can improve on things?
I think we can improve in the area of housing. I do. I think that we need to build more housing. We've needed to build more housing for a while now, and we haven't prioritized that because we're focused on the wrong things. We can talk about housing if you want specifics. I can go into it, but fundamentally, that's the biggest one. On the county level, I would like to build housing, but it's divided government. At the federal level, if you try and do anything with housing, we saw what happened with HUD, in the blueprint process where you switch presidents and now the project becomes unstable. The state is the most stable form of government we have. It's why I'm running for state assembly and not Congress or, something different. I want to build housing at scale, and this is the best entity to do it locally.
So,
Well,
Bill, when we talk about housing, we talk about affordable housing, and that's what I'm most interested in, especially on the north side and some other of the areas of your district. So how do we then move toward, instead of $1,500 a month apartments, how do we move toward housing that people can afford?
Well, I think there's a number of different programs that are out there right now. One thing I want to correct that Mo speaks in half truths. Okay.
What's the half truth, sir?
Well, I agree with him wholeheartedly that what we need to do now is build more units. That's the only way we're going to get out of our housing crisis. That's the only way we're going to get out of tenants crisis. We've got to build more housing. I have never been any other place but there. The idea that the state of New York has the money to do away with our housing crisis is just not true. The state of New York does not print money Federal government does. You may agree with it, you may not agree with it.
We shouldn't even
But
try.
the federal government, no, I'm trying every day, Mo. Every day I'm trying.
Do you think
Every
you've been
day.
successful over the past 28 years?
I'm sorry?
Do you think
What-
you've achieved your goal of building enough housing over the
No,
past
I haven't
28 years?
achieved all. My goals are always something that I'm reaching for, not something that I've attained. I've never said we've done everything. I'm always trying to do better. That's something my father always told me. He said, "Did you do your best? Are you doing your best?" And you know what? I never told him yes, because I always knew I could do a little bit better, a little bit better. And that's what we're going to do in the next 2 years.
Mo, let's talk about fundraising. All right. Mr. Magnarelli is running TV ads. I saw one the other night. How do you raise enough?
Yeah.
Easy there. How do you? That's when I first saw the beard, by the way. How do you raise the money, Mo, to combat that?
Yeah, so my assembly member has been funded by DoorDash, has been reported by the Post Standard.
Yeah.
They are spending $154,000 on his behalf. So I don't know if I can outspend these big corporations. They have unlimited money. You know, we've seen DoorDash spend $1 million to get Cuomo elected. They've spent to help Trump. So I don't know if I can outraise the assembly member, the incumbent, but I think that our ground game is far superior. I think that, you know, our message is far superior. People want change. People want hope. The amount of conversations I have at doors that just feel the stagnation. They want to know what his housing plan is. I give them mine and they don't know after 28 years. So I think our message is much stronger. We have raised over $100,000. Like, we've spent over $100,000. So this is not, you know, a small campaign by any means.
No.
This is the most expensive campaign I've ever spent. But fundamentally, it like breaks my heart that we're going to spend $600,000 combined on whether or not, you know, we should be moving to the next generation this year or 2 years from now or 4 years from now. But that is the conversation we're having, and that is what we're up against, those big money.
I want to give Bill a chance to answer the DoorDash stuff.
Well, first of all, DoorDash got into this race unbeknownst to me. That is nothing that I knew about. Nothing. Nobody's ever talked to my campaign. All of that is being run by an independent, whatever they call them. But that's not my campaign. It's not, you know, if it's helping me, thank you. But on the other hand, it's not anything that I've done. The other thing I want to get back to, you know, you keep talking, Mo, about, you know, a housing plan. There are housing plans that are out there now. We've got to get them implemented. There's a housing plan for Central New York with $150 million from the state put into it, working through center states. Where have you been? Things are moving. I also know I've been called by people who build huge amounts of housing because of Micron. I've been called by these entities looking into Central New York and where they can place the housing. The housing is going to come. Is it fast enough? No. It's never going to be fast enough. We are hurting at this point, and we've got to push these projects along. Absolutely.
But I'm talking about affordable housing. Okay, the Micron stuff is great, and how, you know, single family homes are great. You have to have them, but we need apartments that scale for people who are working in jobs that don't pay $100,000 a year.
Absolutely. And I think that the more housing you build, the more the marketplace starts to take care of some of those things. But we also, as a government, have to make sure that some affordable housing is built in each of these projects. And it's exactly what we are doing now.
Mo, the north side is not in great shape. Everybody knows that. I mean, it has been improved somewhat over the years, but it's still, you know, a crime-ridden area. It's not as bad as the near west side, of course, but it's heading there. And what needs to be addressed there, Mo?
So I did want to at least acknowledge that it is hard for us to build trust in government when we don't acknowledge that these big money interests are here for something. Like, they didn't spend $154,000 to your campaign for no reason. I don't know what the reason was, but I think the voters deserve an answer, or at least I would as your constituent, because the implication is they're doing something. Like, why were they spending? I've only spent $120,000 raised by donors in this community, and DoorDash has outspent me.
All right, well, let him answer. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay, well, if you read the newspaper, because that's where I got the answer, the newspaper said when they talked to DoorDash, it was because that they were looking for people who would listen to small businesses that are creating DoorDash. It was in the paper on Sunday. Read the article.
Do you believe
that's why they gave it. That's why they did it. They looked at me as a representative that was concerned about requirements on small business, was concerned about moving things along with small businesses and get them up and operating.
But Mo,
that was the reason. That's
Mo, what are you saying?
I don't know any other reason.
Mo, just say what you're saying.
I've said it. I don't think DoorDash has been a champion for small business throughout their career. They sued in Wisconsin to make sure the workers didn't get protection.
Okay, we're not going down that rabbit hole. Hold on. So this is what I want to know. What do you think the DoorDash contribution means?
I think it means that big moneyed interests are in our politics here to stay, and we're not pushing back against them. I think we need to overturn Citizens United, but I think fundamentally we need to push back on super PACs when they try and spend in our races. We need to disavow them. We need to say, I appreciate your help. I know you want to help me, but to the average voter, it looks like you're trying to buy me off. To the average voter, that's what it looks like. I don't think that's the case. I know you have amazing integrity, but when I'm trying to get people involved in government and they see these big moneyed interests come in, this will turn them off. It makes it really hard to build a bench.
Well, it does, but the way the game is played right now is it's money. You got to raise money. You got to have big money.
You got to raise money. That we both know that, and I want to thank my opponent for saying that I have integrity. I appreciate that. Listen, I just want you to know that until that advertisement or whatever it was came up, I knew nothing about this. Nobody came to me and asked me what to do, or did I have any chance of saying no? It was already up and running. So I think people have to understand that, and they have to understand why they're getting involved. I at least take their reason at face value. They're saying they saw a representative that needs to be brought back to his office because of what he's doing in Albany, and they liked what he was doing. They didn't make any bones about it. They didn't hide it. It's all out there.
The fact that you don't see what the problem is.
No, I didn't say I didn't say I didn't see what you're saying. I understand that. But it was over before it started as far as them getting in. I didn't know about it.
Yes. So we have a question actually from a viewer, Bill. It says, Producer Bill, what are you doing, man? You're killing me, man. The Judy Jerome one.
Oh, this one. Okay.
Yes,
Sorry.
Bill, can you answer this? Can you see that for Chairman of the Transportation Committee, why have you not delivered enough for Syracuse transit, bike lanes, and safer streets?
Well, again, that's just, it takes a long time and a lot of money to put together safe streets, and we've been doing it. We passed 2 bills last year for complete streets. Every single project that's coming through the DOT has to look at complete streets going forward. So we're doing everything we can, but there's thousands and thousands of miles of roadway that have to be attended to make sure that everything becomes a complete street as much as it can be. And as far as transit is concerned, there has been no chair in the last 20 years that I know of that has brought more money to mass transit, especially in upstate New York, than I have. So we're fighting that battle every day. I'm looking to bring more money to our Centro, for example. And, I agree with whoever the person is that sent in that question. We need to do more.
Mo, let me ask you this, because this is one of the arguments that people always make about people who are primarying incumbents, right? They say, well, why would we get rid of all this seniority and all? I mean, he's chairman of a committee, why would we do that?
And to those people, I would ask, like, what has that seniority gotten us? Like, has that
Yeah.
seniority delivered us prosperity throughout the land? If you feel like there's prosperity throughout Central New York, if you feel like every child, regardless of their zip code, has the same access to housing, healthcare, and education, if you feel that way, then I might not be the candidate for you. I don't think we've seen the widespread prosperity I would like to see, and I think we can achieve that. I want to bring it to transportation just because that was the question that was brought up. As the chair of the transportation committee, our central is struggling. The comptroller just put a report out saying just that, and we can do more. We can have leadership, but central's gonna need help. And the way
Yeah.
you can help them is by raising revenue on our highest earners, and you can use that to invest in the buses. We've not seen that over the past 28 years. And if we don't put those investments into Central, we're going to keep playing from behind like we're doing. We can be forward thinking. We don't have to wait for the bad thing to happen, then react to it. We can be proactive, and we've not been.
Okay, again, it's a lot of half truths, in that one. Okay, first of all, the comptroller came out with a report. Did you read it? I
Yes.
did. Okay, and you know what
too.
it said? It said that Centro didn't keep track of the how many
Why?
times the bus stops by. That's up to Centro, and I'm already asking them that question. How come? And they are. There's a new regime, and they're starting up. The second part of it is Centro has gotten more money with me as chair of transportation than ever before. And it is operating much better than it was before. Is it perfect? No. Are we going to do better? Yes. But this guy is the guy that's pushing it forward. I'm not waiting for anybody. And I didn't need an opponent to tell me that we have to do better in transportation. I know that. And that's what I'm doing.
What's the feeling in Albany once you're there, and the political atmosphere in Albany? First of all, the budget was late again, and really not much attention was paid to that, which was ridiculous because
That's the
there's
bread
a
and butter.
deadline for a reason. So what is the atmosphere like there? Let's Bill first. What it's like trying to deal with the governor, who's not especially popular, even though I think she's done a fine job, and then the rest of the legislature.
Well, I want to say the same thing you just did, Jim. I think she's doing a fine job, but I did not like the way she treated the legislature during the budget process. What she basically did is put 96 or 97 Article 7 bills in the budget. Those are policy bills, okay? It got down to 4 that got all of the publicity. But the bottom line, there were 97 of these policy bills in her budget. She took the position, and if I was governor, I'm not so sure I would have taken any different position. She took the position that the only way I'm going to get these passed is if I get them in the budget, because if you don't like them, you're never going to pass them as single bills. So she forced the issue with these 97 bills, okay? And that's what took so long. And then we get down to the end of the year where we've got 2 or 3 weeks left to basically deal with all of the legislation that we wanted to pass during the session. So that it was frustrating. There was a lot of frustration, I would say, is the answer. But in the end, I think we got a very good budget. And I think Governor Hochul got some of the things she wanted, and we got a few of the things that the legislature wanted as well.
Mo, how does a neophyte go into that kind of an atmosphere and fight for the district?
So if you look around the state is moving to the left. So one of the most powerful people in Albany this cycle was actually New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani. He was able to secure childcare for his constituents because we're moving left. Governor Hochul knows that she needs the progressives if she wants to get elected, and she's been, governing as so. We saw her move on childcare. We're seeing her, embrace this new ideology in a way that I wish my assembly member would. But fundamentally, we need that big tent as Democrats, and Governor Hochul has been willing to work, with the Zohrans, with the Bills, with, everyone in between. But fundamentally, I think as time goes, Albany is going to start to look a lot more like me and a lot less like my opponent. And it's going to be hard for Syracuse to keep up if we, just get entrenched on that. We've always done it the same way. I think we're seeing a lot of new creative ideas. I'll talk about the social housing uh, uh, development authority, where we're building housing at scale, or at least we're trying to. This is one of the ideas I want to bring to Syracuse. We've piloted it. We're going to try and invest Syracuse. But fundamentally, there are people around the state that realize housing is in a crisis and we need to take drastic action, we being the government. And right now, that's why I'm running, because I want to see that drastic action.
Well, we have a fundamental difference there.
Correct.
I don't think
That's why I'm running.
I don't think the government should be the one that is doing the pushing as far. Excuse me, I didn't.
Who should?
I'm not saying that the government shouldn't be pushing. We should be pushing for more housing. However, without the private sector, housing will not be built out to scale. Even the thing that he's talking about, I think it's in the Hudson Valley. Am I correct, Mo?
So
it's in Sharista's bill, the pilot in Ulster County. I'm aware of all of these things, Mo, and I take them all into consideration. We look at everything. The bottom line is we need more housing. But if you don't entice private industry to get involved in this, we're going to have a mess, a total mess.
All right, Bill, let me ask you this.
That's how it works.
Hold on. I want you to react to what Mo said about the changing dynamics nationally in the Democrat Party, because certainly there's signs that it is moving further left. I've always considered you like a center left guy. How do you react to that?
Yeah, I find it funny because I've always considered myself a progressive until Mo tells me that I'm not. And I am a progressive, and I've changed over the years. For 28 years, we have been progressively moving to what people would think are more left stands. I don't have any problem with that. I don't have any problem with looking into these issues. And, things change. We didn't have the same kind of problems that we have now, maybe 20 years ago. We didn't have AI. We didn't have Micron. We didn't have these things coming to our area. Now we've got to deal with all of that. And yes, I'm very much in tune with looking at everything. By the way, I served with Zoran. I know him. Okay. He's not a bad guy. I've talked to him. He's a good guy, personally. Do I agree with all of his stands? No, I do not. But on the other hand, I think we should be moving. We have to take into consideration everything. I don't throw anything off the table.
Like,
this is the difference. Or I'll let you go, Jim. Sorry.
Well, I think you're right. I think that is one of the differences. And I do believe that we're going to see a changing of the guard. I do. I think the midterms is the beginning. And so this is a very tough thing to happen now, because this particular race, because I like both you guys, obviously, but this is a very tough time. And going into the midterms, we need to see, a unified Democrat Party, if that's what people in fact want. So I think you're exactly right. I think that maybe in the future it is going to be much more progressive Democrat Party, because that seems to be what people want right now. But these things ebb and flow, and you know that, because after 28, okay, now we're heading towards, presidential races, and now things are going to get, bad. So after the midterms, if everyone's not unified, we're in trouble. Now, I know locally that, like Bill said, the Democrats, I'm not a Democrat, the Democrats have always been fractured. The Republicans have always seemed to be together and have done very well, although now the tide has changed and has changed in the legislature. So there is change coming. And I think the question is, when's the right time? And I think that's what voters have to determine.
Yes,
I've got
sir.
a question.
Go ahead, Bill.
And this is to what earlier you were saying, Assemblyman. You named Mo as a democratic socialist and it didn't seem like that was your type thing. And by what you were just saying about the mayor of New York, what is your holdup of the democratic socialist movement? Why is that guard? Why are you putting that guard up?
Because I look at Democrat as socialists. They are basically socialists. That means that they want the infrastructure of the state to be owned by the state and not by private industry. This is the beginning of a socialist movement, and that's what I disagree with.
Mo?
You can call it what you want, but fundamentally,
I'm
the
calling it what
government,
you call yourself.
fundamentally, we need a government that works better to help working people. And right now, we're not seeing that. So I don't model myself after any politician. The people that I look up to, my role models, the Martin Luther Kings, the Fred Hamptons, the Angela Davises, a lot of my role models were democratic socialists, like Kwame Ture, Stokely Carmichael, the people who started the Black Panthers. These were people who were socialists. They were democratic socialists, and those values, those community, making sure every kid gets fed, making sure everyone has a home. These are values that the government can apply. And we're seeing it in New York City. We're seeing it in places all around the country. Right now, I want to see it in Syracuse.
Well, and I don't think that labels are helpful. And I've never thought that. And I think it's...
You got to remember one thing, Jim. That's what he calls himself.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
That's not what I called him. That's what he called himself.
What do you call me?
So, I call you an acquaintance of mine now. I mean, that's what I call you, and my opponent.
Well, yeah, and you have to expect that, Mo, right?
Yeah. I am A-okay with it. Just he brought it up, and now he's saying, but I can work with acquaintance. We are acquaintances.
And I don't mind, Democrat, socialist, I don't mind that.
I think there has to be some. I mean, it's almost to the point where we're at a point where we got to try something else, and we don't know if that'll go that way. But going back to what you said, him being your acquaintance and your opponent, Mo, if this doesn't work out for you, if the primary doesn't work, are you still going to unify with the Assemblyman to continue the Democrat message?
Yeah, and I would ask the same question of him as well.
Yes. I'll say yes right now.
Yes. I think that the Democratic Party needs to come together. I do. I just think we've never had this conversation locally, and there's never been any momentum to have it. I'm not viewed, I'm viewed as like the opposition to the local party, and I'll accept that moniker. Like, the party needs to get better. Someone needs to agitate it, but no one's been willing to lead the Democratic Party here in Syracuse. I go back to John DeFrancisco. In his book, he said that he gerrymandered a state Senate district to make sure that Bob Antonacci could have his seat. Like, that's how big he was on developing the next generation. And we don't see that on our side. Like, the Republican Party embraced Ryan McMahon at 34 years old. And we don't do that as Democrats. We're really big that you got to wait your turn, that we're not in this together, that, we're social Democrats and we're center left. But I think we have to come together because the powers that we're up against are stronger than us divided.
Again, a lot of half-truths there. The Democratic Party has a lot of very young people that are involved, that are office holders as well. People that have been supported by the Democratic Party, and leadership has supported them in getting elected. Mo makes it sound like everybody who got elected last November was helped by him. They were helped by the party to get elected, not just Mo. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that as well.
Mo, is the party helping you now?
In this instance, no, sir. The party is actually making up lies about me, calling me homophobic. But
what?
Yeah, that has come up.
Not my campaign.
Okay.
Mo,
some of your supporters.
Not my campaign.
Okay.
I have no idea. It's not my campaign.
Yeah, I would not believe that of Bill at all. So
yeah, I don't think Bill is a part of it, but there's definitely not leadership telling people not to do that. Like, we need that leadership in the party to say, this should remain about
By
issue.
the way, I've never heard that before until you said it.
I did.
Would never, ever. That's not any place I go.
No worries, but fundamentally, I do think we need to come together, and I think that as Democrats, we need to move on housing. We need to pass the
Me
Rest
too.
Act. We need to build housing at
See,
scale.
Okay, hold on, because we're
jump.
starting to come back around to these issues, and I
I'm
think
gonna
we've
keep
talked
coming to
them out.
housing.
I know you are, and I
Yes,
appreciate that. I
You know,
do.
and he keeps jumping. He goes, "We need housing and we need the Rest Act." There's two
we do.
different things. They're not
Those
the
are both
same.
housing. Those are both housing.
No. One is rent stabilization.
Is
The
that not
rest,
housing?
it's rent stabilization. That's
Are
different. We're
renters not in a
trying to get private industry to build, and you're telling them you can only make so much.
so
How does that not? How does that not connect with you? I
so
don't
we
understand.
need to protect our tenants. It connects with me
All
entirely.
right, that's a
And
different ballgame. And I have passed legislation to protect tenants. The Tenants
they need
Dignity and
more.
Safe Housing Act is the best tenants act that has been passed to protect tenants ever.
I believe that.
Central New
I
York.
don't disagree
I
with
know
that.
you do,
I
because
think
I
we
used to
can
have
do better.
this podcast I used to do, and
Oh,
I would
that's
have
right.
like people on that I would interview and stuff.
I think we're doing well, to be honest.
Yeah,
you
we've
guys are
been good.
No, it's
I've
fun.
been good.
Hey, listen, I'm in the great seat. I get to sit back and enjoy this whole thing.
That's right. That's
We've
right.
been
This is
good.
a good time.
Wow, that's why this is a conversation and not a debate.
That's right.
I don't like
Exactly.
debates. I think
There's
they're
no
phony.
rules, no times.
So I like this. I like the back and forth. It's good. It's healthy. I like the fact I like the fact that this is happening, and I don't like the fact this is happening to you too, unfortunately, because I think both of you are leaders of the party, and I think that you're one of the future leaders of the party, Mo, and Bill, you're certainly a leader of the party. It just, to me, that's why I asked the first question today: who leads the Democratic Party locally? Because they should be out front of all of this. This is the Democrats' year right now. Okay, starts now, goes to the midterms, then we'll see. But this is, you guys got to get on board right now. So I hate to see this, but I like to see this because I think this is the way democracy should work. We're going to wrap this up. I want Mo, I want you to give a statement that tells people, who you are.
Yeah. It's weird doing this at the end, but Jim, Bill, Ali, also Bill Magnarelli. But thank you for having us. Thank you for having this conversation. My name is Maurice Brown. For those who don't know me, I believe that housing, healthcare, and education are human rights, and I believe the role of local government is to protect those rights. And right now, those rights are under attack. We're seeing it most notably at the federal level with everything with ICE, but we also saw, HUD take away $25 million from a local project. I think our best vehicle to address everything that's happening is the state of New York. It's the most stable. It's the best body to build the amount of housing I think we need. So I'm running to be your state assemblyman. I think that the incumbent has done his very best. I do. I just think Syracuse can be better. And I think us having this conversation is the only way we move forward, is the only way we get better. So I'm running. I do think that I am the best candidate in this race, but fundamentally, I think that we're getting better representation overall because we're having this conversation. And I don't mind forcing this conversation. It's not about me or my political safety. It's about us. It's about Syracuse. It's about moving forward. And that's why I'm running, because I think we need to move forward. You can learn more about me on my website, www.electmauricebrown.com.
And we'll put that up, right, Bill?
Yeah. We'll
Thanks,
make
sir.
everything. Yep.
Bill, same opportunity for you.
Well, I too want to thank you for having us on. It's been fun, and I enjoy the conversation. Bottom line is, I have been in office for 28 years. I have delivered for my constituency. I've done things that he has said he wants to do: education, all of our schools, healthcare, $450 million for Upstate Medical Center. I mean, where does that come from? It falls from the sky. Housing. I've been involved in housing all my life, even before I got into politics. These are things that I know. These are things I can bring home to Syracuse, and I am bringing them home over the past 28 years. I look forward to the election. I look forward to being reelected assemblyman from the 129th Assembly District, and I ask everybody to come out and vote.
Both you guys, I think, are great. And I know, Mo, you have a great future ahead of you. Bill, thank you for everything you've done and everything you're going to do. I appreciate both of you very much. And if circumstances arise that make it necessary, we'll do this again.
Appreciate you having us, Joe.
Thank you.
My
Thank you
pleasure.
very much.
Thank you, guys.
Hey guys, don't log off yet. I'm going to pull you down. Just stick around until the show's over. I appreciate it.
Okay.
That was great. And they're both, I just hate to see this because they're both great.
It's good that we can bring them on this platform and they're civil enough. You know, you don't see that today anymore. You don't see that anymore. Even within the party, you don't see that stuff anymore. So it's I like the conversation. We don't have to go, we don't have to, spend hours and hours, attacking each other.
No.
You have two very passionate people about what they've done. And we know that with the Assemblyman, but we've seen that over the past couple of years with Mo also.
Yeah.
How, he's wanted to become a part of the local political climate. He's on the ledge. He's out and about. He's doing everything that needs to be done.
Well, he's come from nowhere.
That's exactly. And that's, these are the next generation has to come.
Yep.
And this comment is my favorite one of the show that we got. Waiting your turn is not a sign of a healthy democracy.
Absolutely.
But
it can't stand it.
We've been in good hands with the Assemblyman.
Yes.
We've been in good hands with the ledge with Mo.
Yep. They're both great.
Go out and vote. That's all you can do.
It's a turnout, I'm telling you.
Yes.
But fortunately, this time around, the midterm, so there will be turnout, and hopefully it's big because this is it. I mean, this is a huge election. I do take Mo's point that it's time for a change. It's time to get new blood in. I agree with that. The other side of that coin is Bill's been extremely effective his entire career. And, and I like both guys very much. So and that's tough. Yeah, but it's good. It's good for democracy. I want to see more of this. I like the fact that Mo said, I'm happy to force this discussion. I like that. I do, because that's what needs to happen. The discussions need to be forced to happen.
And we need more of them.
Yes. And we need them between the old guard and the new.
Yes.
And we need cooperation.
And I'm part
of the old guard.
And
we
once
need young guys.
And once this all, plays out, whatever side needs to, we all need to work. They all need to work together. I'm not just saying this because we have two demo. Everybody needs to do
that. Republicans, Democrats, everybody.
Because that's the only way you're going to go forward.
Definitely. Well, that was good, man. That was really, really good. And we do these special reports. I feel like we have something that you would want to see.
Yep.
And
we got a show Thursday. Come back Thursday at 3:00. We got right now. Assemblyman Will Barkley's going to be on Thursday at.
I think we'll probably, not probably, but we might have the Syracuse Police Chief. And
yes.
If we don't have him Thursday, then we'll have him soon. I've been told that. My sources have informed me. Thank you, Producer Bill. That was awesome. And my thanks most especially to you for watching this little podcast. Thank you. And be safe, be healthy, and God willing, we're all back at it next time on the Jim Reith Show Unleashed podcast.